Bull sharks stand out among various apex predators due to their unique ability to thrive in salt and freshwater environments. Regarded as one of the planet's most dangerous shark species, bull sharks are distinguished by their adaptability and insatiable appetite. Their greedy nature leads them to consume anything that fulfills their hunger, including humans. This lesson was taught in the most gruesome way to these individuals who came face to face with bull sharks. These are the worst bull shark attacks of all time. The early morning sun painted the Nakisa River estuary in South Africa with hues of gold, casting a tranquil glow over the vast waterway where the river met the Indian Ocean. The air was crisp, filled with the promise of adventure and the salty scent of the sea. Rory Callahan, a seasoned endurance athlete, stood at the water's edge, captivated by the serene beauty surrounding him. As the first light of dawn kissed the estuary, Rory donned his gear, preparing for a challenge that would push the boundaries of his physical prowess. The estuary, home to many wildlife, promised a breathtaking and exhilarating experience. Rory had heard tales of its beauty that beckoned him to test his mettle against the currents carved through its scenic landscape. The morning was draped in silence, interrupted only by the soft lapping of the water against the shore. Rory, equipped with a waterproof GPS tracker, a whistle, and a knife secured to his ankle, stood ready for his ambitious swim. A support boat bobbed nearby, manned by his friend and fellow athlete, Jake, who would monitor Rory's progress and provide assistance if necessary. With a wave to Jake and a deep breath, Rory submerged himself into the cool embrace of the estuary. Adrenaline surged through his veins as he commenced his swim, the water yielding effortlessly to his strokes. After almost an hour of swimming, he checked his GPS and saw that he had covered about 3 kilometers. He was halfway there. He felt good and strong. He decided to speed up a little and challenge himself. He increased his strokes and kicks and felt his muscles burn and his heart pound. He enjoyed the feeling of pushing his body to the limit. He looked ahead and saw the other side of the estuary where he planned to finish his swim. He saw a small beach with a sign, "Welcome to Whitsand." He aimed for that spot and swam faster. He didn't notice the shadow that appeared behind him. He didn't hear the splash that followed. He was unaware of the danger that was rearing to pounce on him. He only felt a sudden and powerful tug on his left leg that pulled him underwater. He gasped and choked on the water that filled his mouth. He opened his eyes and saw a flash of gray and white. He realized that a shark was attacking him, a bull shark. He panicked and tried to free himself from the shark's grip. He felt its teeth sink deeper into his flesh and bone, tearing and crushing. He saw blood gushing out of his wound, clouding the water. He felt shock and horror. He screamed, but the water swallowed his pleas for help. He remembered his knife and reached for it. He grabbed it and stabbed the shark in the eye. The shark let go of him and swam away. He saw it disappear into the darkness. He didn't know if it was dead or alive or if it would come back. He didn't have time to think. He had to get out of the water. He had to get help. He had to survive. He looked at his leg and saw that it was mangled and mutilated. He saw the bones sticking out and the flesh hanging off. He felt faint and nauseous. He knew that he was losing a lot of blood. He knew that he could die. He felt queasy knowing the state of his mangled leg. He tried to swim away as far as he could from the place of the attack. He was not sure if the shark was still alive, whether it left or just stalked, waiting for the perfect time for another ambush. Rory tried swimming, but even staying afloat took a lot of work. He could feel his consciousness starting to fade. He was about to give up when suddenly from the distance he heard screams. It was from Jake as the support boat was speeding towards his location. Rory was already slowly drifting under when Jake jumped into the water. With great difficulty, Jake could haul Rory aboard the support boat. Jake assessed Rory's injuries, and he immediately knew of the gravity of the attack, evident with the blood gushing out from Rory's mangled leg, covering the boat's floor with blood. Jake wrapped Rory's injuries with a clean cloth to stem the bleeding. Rory was fading in and out of consciousness. Only Jake kept him tethered to reality. As soon as Jake finished the first aid, he sped the boat towards the shore. They reached the beach after what seemed like an eternity. Jake immediately hauled Rory out of the boat with the help of the crowd, leaving a trail of blood behind him. They collapsed on the sand, exhausted and relieved. Rory looked around and saw that there were people on the beach. He closed his eyes and lost consciousness. He woke up in a hospital surrounded by doctors and nurses. They told him that he had been airlifted to the nearest medical facility and that he had undergone several surgeries. Rory looked down and only saw a stump on where his leg used to be. He looked at his stump and felt a surge of pain and sadness. He went around the hospital room and saw his family and friends. He felt regretful, but also a wave of love and support. He decided to live. He chose to fight. He decided to overcome. He underwent a long and challenging recovery process. He endured physical and psychological therapy. He learned to use a prosthetic leg. He learned to walk again. He learned to swim again. He became an advocate for awareness of shark habitats in recreational waters. He spoke at schools, events, and media outlets. He shared his story and his message. He educated people about respecting and protecting sharks and their environment. He encouraged people to coexist peacefully and safely with sharks. He challenged people to face their fears and pursue their dreams. He became an inspiration for many. He became Rory Callahan, the man who survived a shark attack. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow across the tranquil freshwater lake in Louisiana. The air was thick with the hum of cicadas, and the cypress trees stood tall, their Spanish moss swaying gently in the evening breeze. Anna Thomas, Mindy Reagan, and Julie Craig set up their campsite by the water's edge, eager to escape the hustle and bustle of their daily lives and immerse themselves in the serenity of nature. The friends laughed and chatted as they pitched their tents and gathered firewood, the flickering flames of their campfire illuminating their excited faces. Unbeknownst to them, a shadow lurked beneath the murky surface of the connecting river, a formidable predator that had ventured far beyond its saltwater domain. As night fell, the trio decided to explore the lake in kayaks. Mindy, an adventurous soul with a penchant for adrenaline, eagerly hopped into her brightly colored kayak, the water rippling beneath her as she paddled away from the shore. The moon cast a silvery glow on the water, creating an enchanting reflection that danced around her kayak. Mindy marveled at the night's beauty, the trees rustling and distant calls of nocturnal creatures creating a symphony of nature. The stillness of the lake wrapped around her like a comforting blanket, and she felt a sense of tranquility that was rare in her fast-paced life. Little did she know that this serene night would soon be shattered by an encounter with the apex predator lurking below. The first sign of trouble was subtle, an ominous bump against the bottom of her kayak. Mindy's heart skipped a beat as she glanced around, her eyes searching the inky darkness for any signs of what might have caused the disturbance. The silence that followed was eerie, broken only by the distant hooting of an owl. Unnerved but determined to enjoy her night on the water, Mindy continued to paddle. Little did she know the bull shark had identified her as potential prey. Drawn to the vibrations of her movements through the water, the predator closed in, its powerful tail propelling it swiftly through the depths. Suddenly, the shark struck with a force that sent shockwaves through Mindy's kayak. The impact was jarring, and Mindy found herself thrown into the water. Panic gripped her as she thrashed in the dark, her senses overwhelmed by the cold water. In the moonlit chaos, the outline of the massive bull shark became visible, its sleek form a haunting silhouette beneath the surface. Mindy fought to stay afloat, the taste of fear bitter on her tongue. The shark circled its predatory instincts in full swing. With a ferocious burst of speed, it lunged at Mindy, its razor-sharp teeth sinking into her leg. The initial shock gave way to searing pain as the bull shark's powerful bite tore through flesh and bone. Blood clouded the water around Mindy, starkly contrasting the serene lake that seemed like a haven of peace moments ago. She screamed, the sound muffled by the water as the shark continued its assault. Panic and desperation fueled her survival instincts. She fought back with everything she had. Mindy thrashed relentlessly. She kept stabbing at the creature, gripping her leg with her paddle. Using her free leg, she kicked at the predator with all her might. In her frantic bid for survival, one of her kicks landed squarely on the shark's sensitive snout. The shark recoiled, seemingly affected by the resistance. In the frantic struggle, Mindy managed to free herself from the jaws of the relentless predator. With adrenaline coursing through her veins, she swam towards the surface, gasping for air. The shark, momentarily deterred by the unexpected resistance, hovered in the depths, its dark eyes fixated on its wounded prey. Back on the surface, Mindy's friends had heard the commotion. Anna and Julie paddled frantically towards the chaotic scene, their eyes widening with horror as they saw Mindy's bloodied form emerge from the water. Panic set in, and they worked together to hoist her onto one of the kayaks, desperately paddling towards the shore, leaving a trail of blood in their wake. The campsite erupted into chaos when they saw Anna and Julie screaming for help as they approached the shore. Now joined by other campers, the friends raced against time to get Mindy the medical attention she needed. The news of a shark attack in fresh water spread like wildfire through the small community, leaving residents in shock and disbelief. Emergency services arrived swiftly. Their faces mirrored the disbelief of the situation. Mindy's leg is a total mess, mangled and torn beyond recognition. Now in the care of paramedics, Mindy fought to maintain consciousness as the world around her blurred. The pain was excruciating, and the reality of the situation sank in as she glimpsed the torn flesh and blood-soaked bandages that enveloped her leg. As news of the shark attack spread, the community rallied together, grappling with the shock of such a rare and horrifying event. Public discussions on the adaptability of bull sharks and the potential dangers they pose in freshwater environments sparked debates among scientists, conservationists, and locals alike. In the aftermath of the attack, the lake underwent increased monitoring, and awareness campaigns were launched to educate the public about the presence of bull sharks in freshwater. The incident served as a wake-up call to authorities for better safety measures and a reminder of the untamed forces that could lurk beneath the surface, even in the most idyllic settings. Months passed, and Mindy, though forever marked by that fateful night's physical and emotional scars, emerged as a symbol of resilience. The adaptability of predator and prey had been laid bare, leaving an indelible imprint on the small community nestled by the freshwater lake in Louisiana, a place forever changed by the unseen forces that dwelled within its depths. Somewhere along the coast of the Philippine Seas, where the waters were laden with the soft glow of the moon, illuminating the seas and scattered islands with its faint light, Juan del Mundo, an experienced fisherman who preferred to venture the waters and fish during the night, moved through the dark expanse with the assurance of someone who had dedicated a lifetime to understanding the sea's mysteries. His weathered face told the tales of numerous nights beneath the starry sky, chasing after elusive creatures and schools of fish along the rich coastline of the tropics. Juan's familiarity with the sea was evident as he skillfully navigated the inky blackness, his connection with the ocean written on his face like a map of his adventures. The air was thick with the scent of salt and the distant echo of waves crashing against unseen barriers. Juan's small boat cut through the calm surface like a knife, leaving ripples as it glided toward the horizon. The engine's hum was a lullaby, coaxing the sea creatures into a temporary trance, unaware of the imminent disruption about to unfold. As Juan's practiced hands skillfully worked the fishing line, he could feel the ocean's pulse beneath him. This rhythmic heartbeat harmonized with the whispers of the night. The silhouettes of distant islands stood watch against the sky, their jagged edges breaking the monotony of the darkness. Juan felt an invisible thread connecting him to the sea in this quiet solitude. He had danced with the tides, mastered the currents, and shared silent conversations with the moon and stars. Yet on this fateful night, the monotony of his routines would take an unexpected turn. The first hint of danger manifested as a sudden jerk on Juan's fishing net. His calloused hands tightened around the rope that held the net to the boat as he engaged in a silent battle with an unseen adversary beneath the surface. Tension vibrated through the line, a testament to the creature's strength on the other end. The boat, a humble vessel adorned with the marks of countless nights at sea, responded to the unseen force with an initial, almost invisible sway. The rhythmic creaking of the boat echoed through the night. Suddenly, with a violent force, the boat lurched as the unseen creature tugged with immense force as it snatched its prey. Juan was caught off guard and stumbled but managed to maintain his balance. His eyes widened as he stared into the abyss below. Using his lamp, he illuminated the surface and scanned the surrounding waters. But what he saw was a surprise he did not want to witness. Under the boat, darting in and out of view, is the silhouette of a predator. Juan was not particularly sure what kind of creature tugged and snapped his net, but he was sure it was a shark, and it was a big one. The water erupted as the shark rushed toward Juan's lamplight. Chaos followed swiftly. Not content with snatching the catch, the shark, drawn to Juan's lamp, leaped out of the depths with open jaws, crashing into the side of Juan's small boat. Wood shattered and the boat flipped over, sending Juan into the dark waters. Survival instincts kicked in as Juan fought against the suffocating embrace of the sea. Clinging to the wreckage of his boat, he hauled himself aboard the most significant piece floating in the ocean. As soon as he got out of the water and into his makeshift vessel, he surveyed the darkness for signs of the predator that had shattered his boat. As the night unfolded, Juan's senses became finely attuned to the subtle movements beneath the surface. Shadows swirled around him, and the distant glow of phosphorescent organisms painted an eerie sight beneath the waves. Fear coiled in his chest, but the years of communing with the sea kept him tethered to hope and survival. With a silent determination, Juan spotted a piece of wood from the boat's balance beam floating nearby. Grabbing it like a lifeline, he fashioned it into a makeshift paddle, relying on muscle memory and instinct to propel himself towards the distant shore, where lights shimmered like distant fireflies. The sea, however, was not ready to relinquish its grip. A dark shadow materialized beneath Juan, a swift and silent reminder of the predator lurking in the depths. Sensing the movement from Juan's bid for survival, the shark circled back for another strike. The predator surged towards him with the precision of a living torpedo, but this time Juan was more prepared, as he was expecting the shark's attack. With a primal roar that echoed in the vast expanse, he thrust his improvised paddle towards the approaching beast. The wood collided with its eye with a resounding thud. Juan felt the force of the impact, and he knew he hit the predator as reflected in its convulsive recoil. Juan's heart pounded in his ears as he watched the wounded shark retreat into the inky waters, leaving him with a brief respite. As the night wore on, Juan continued his solitary voyage, the lights of the shore growing tantalizingly closer. The sea was deceptively calm as he pushed forward, concealing the perils that lingered beneath the surface. Exhaustion threatened to claim him, but his survival instincts kept him going. Juan's ordeal ended with the first light of dawn heralding a new day. Other fishermen, oblivious to the harrowing drama that had unfolded in the dark hours, spotted him adrift. Their boats converged towards the capsized vessel, rescuing the weary survivor from the clutches of the unforgiving sea. As Juan was hauled onto one of the boats, he could feel his muscles burning in pain, his palms calloused and splintered from paddling non-stop. He was immediately watered to drink as he almost fainted from exhaustion. The boat's engine roared to life as it sped towards the shore. Juan was battered and weary, but he was alive. He escaped the sea's crucible and survived an attack from one of its apex predators. The ocean embraced Christine Polanski as she descended into its depths, a kaleidoscope of cerulean hues unfolding around her. The waters off the coast of Peru, bathed in the ethereal glow of the early morning sun, promised a spectacle of nature's beauty. Christine, a seasoned underwater photographer, marveled at the balletic grace of the bull sharks that prowled this aquatic realm. The coral reef, a vibrant tapestry of colors and textures, swayed gently in the current. Schools of fish darted among the intricate formations, a harmonious dance of life beneath the surface. Christine, clad in her sleek wetsuit and armed with a state-of-the-art camera, navigated the labyrinthine coral gardens with the finesse of a seasoned explorer. Her mission was clear: to capture the elusive beauty of bull sharks in their natural habitat. This endeavor demanded skill and respect for the creatures that ruled this underwater kingdom. The scene's tranquility belied the inherent danger, as bull sharks, known for their territorial nature, patrolled the area with a silent authority. As Christine descended further into the aquatic expanse, the water around her seemed to pulse with an electrifying energy. The presence of the apex predators, their sleek forms gliding through the water with a predatory elegance, set the stage for a primal encounter. Yet the allure of the perfect shot propelled Christine deeper into the heart of the marine world. Her experienced eyes scanned the depths, seeking the presence of the majestic and volatile predators. The ocean's pulse, the gentle sway of sea plants, and the occasional flicker of a tail hinted at the underwater world's secrets. As Christine descended, a shadowy figure emerged from the blue abyss, a pregnant bull shark, its lifeless eyes betraying a primal awareness. The serenity shifted to tension as the shark, feeling intruded upon, focused on Christine. The predator transformed from a distant curiosity to an imminent threat in a heartbeat. Oblivious to the impending danger, Christine continued her descent, her camera capturing the balletic movements of the sharks with unwavering focus. The pregnant bull shark, however, saw only an intruder encroaching upon its territory. Instincts surged and lunged at Christine with a sudden burst of speed. The moment's serenity shattered as the massive predator closed the distance, its mighty jaws agape, aiming for the perceived threat. Once synchronized with the gentle rhythm of the ocean, Christine's heart now thundered in her chest as the shark closed in. In the blink of an eye, the predator's maw clamped down on her torso, a visceral collision of raw power against human vulnerability. The force of the bite jolted through her body, an electric shock of pain that threatened to paralyze her senses. Panic gripped Christine, her lungs burning for air as the realization of her perilous predicament sunk in. The specialized lead vest, her only shield against the unforgiving jaws of the shark, absorbed the initial impact, preventing the serrated teeth from tearing into her flesh. Yet the predator persisted, its relentless assault evident in the escalating pressure against her protective barrier. Christine fought against the tightening grip, her hands scrambling in the alien darkness of the deep. The vest, a feeble defense against the primal force of nature, strained against the monstrous power of the shark. The relentless push and pull between predator and prey unfolded in a violent tug-of-war beneath the surface. Despite the armored layer, Christine felt the shark's jaws pressing against her, an unyielding force that threatened to crush bone and spirit alike. The taste of salt water mixed with the metallic tang of fear as the ocean became a battleground. In the desperate struggle for survival, Christine's fingers found purchase on the shark's rough skin. Adrenaline-fueled instincts screamed for escape as she summoned a hopeless reserve of strength. With a surge of primal determination, she gouged at the creature's eyes, seeking to blind the relentless assailant. The shark, momentarily disoriented by the unexpected assault, released its grip, allowing Christine a fleeting respite. The shark, enraged and disoriented, thrashed violently in the water. Christine, her wetsuit torn and blood mingling with the surrounding currents, fought against the numbing shock of the attack. With her hands still shaking, she groped for the small yet vital device strapped to her ankle, the shark repellent. As the shark prepared for another assault, Christine's trembling fingers found the controls of the repellent device. With a swift motion, she activated it, and a powerful electrical field enveloped her in an invisible shield. The bull shark, caught in the discomforting grip of the electrical pulses targeting its sensory receptors on its snout, recoiled in confusion. In that electrified moment, Christine seized the opportunity to escape. The shark, disoriented and repelled by the device, veered away, leaving a trail of blood and confusion in its wake. The underwater battleground, once serene and captivating, now bore the scars of a primal struggle for survival. Christine, propelled by a potent mix of fear and determination, ascended towards the surface. The ocean, seemingly calm from above, belied the turmoil that lurked beneath. As her head broke through the surface, Christine gulped down the precious air, her body battered but miraculously intact. Christine floated on the water's surface, her eyes fixed on the horizon. The pregnant bull shark now retreated to the shadows and circled warily. The repellent device saved Christine's life and was a testament to the evolving relationship between humanity and the untamed wilderness beneath the waves. As Christine was pulled back onto the boat, the crew marveled at the resilience etched across her face. Once a silent observer of the ocean's mysteries, the underwater photographer had become a survivor of its unforgiving depths. The shark attack tale would linger, a cautionary reminder of the fragile boundary between fascination and danger, and the imperative to respect the wildlife that ruled the realm below. It was a scorching day on Maikai Bay in Hawaii, with the sun casting a warm golden glow over the calm waters. The year was 2000, and the small coastal town buzzed with tourists and locals seeking relief from the intense heat. Among them was Jake Anderson, a young adventurer with an unquenchable thirst for thrilling experiences. Jake's fascination with the ocean's vastness and unpredictability had always captivated him in ways he struggled to articulate. Despite hearing tales of bull sharks roaming the depths of Maikai Bay, his desire for adventure consistently eclipsed any reservations he might have had. As Jake embarked on another morning filled with relentless surfing, his enthusiasm was unmistakable. Positioned at the water's edge, surfboard snugly under his arm, a mischievous grin etched on his lips, he eagerly anticipated the waves. The tranquil turquoise waters appeared inviting, masking their depths with a facade of serenity. He paddled out, his heart pounding with exhilaration and trepidation. The salty breeze ruffled his hair as he surveyed the waves, searching for the perfect one to ride. Hours passed and the sun climbed higher in the sky. Jake's initial excitement had faded into a sense of calm contentment. As midday approached, Jake caught one last wave before returning to shore. He spotted a promising swell in the distance, its crest curling gracefully as if inviting him to ride it. Ignoring the gnawing sensation in his gut, he paddled toward it. The wave grew beneath him, lifting him higher and higher. Jake could feel the energy building, the rush intensifying. For a moment, he was suspended in time, weightless and free. But then, as he descended the wave's face, he saw something that made his blood run cold. A shadow, dark and menacing, moved beneath the water's surface. Panic surged through Jake's veins, his instincts screaming at him to flee. He tried to kick his legs faster to propel himself away from the danger, but it was too late. In an instant, the water erupted around him. A massive force struck his surfboard, throwing Jake into the air like a rag doll. He crashed back into the water with a painful jolt, his limbs thrashing as he fought to regain his bearings. But the water around him had turned crimson, stained with his blood. Pain seared through Jake's leg, excruciating agony that left him gasping for air. He twisted in the water, desperately searching for the source of the attack. And then he saw a 13-foot-long bull shark, its powerful form cutting through the water with terrifying precision. Its cold, lifeless eyes locked onto him, devoid of mercy or empathy. But the agony was far from over. As if driven by an insatiable hunger, the shark lunged again for another attack. This time, no surfboard separated Jake from the frenzied shark. But Jake was also ready this time. Sensing that he must confront the rampaging beast head-on, he immediately got hold of the knife strapped to his right leg. The shark circled Jake ominously, its fin gliding exposed above the surface. And then, it made a straight path towards him. Despite Jake being ready for the attack, there needed to be more preparation that could counter the primal force of the predator. Amidst the struggle, the beast latched its powerful bite onto Jake's right leg. The pain immediately spread throughout Jake's body as the shark's serrated teeth pierced its victim's vulnerable skin, rending flesh and grinding bones with its powerful grip. The shark thrashed relentlessly, tugging at Jake's leg, trying to drag him underwater. Every tug from the shark exacerbated Jake's wounds, but he was not ready to succumb to the predator's attacks. With all his might, he started stabbing at the shark's rough hide with his knife. He knew that it was his only chance for survival. Luckily, he was able to hit the shark's vulnerable eye. The shark seemed to recoil and writhe in agony as the sharp blade pierced the protective layer of its eye. The shark thrashed more violently, but seemed to release its grip on its prey. Sensing the opportunity, Jake pushed the shark away and kicked it on its snout with his free leg. The shark eventually released its grip and retreated to the ocean's depths. But it was a short-lived victory, as Jake was still in the water, bleeding, and in danger of succumbing to his injuries. Jake's heart pounded in his chest as he fought to stay afloat. He immediately located his surfboard, which was still attached to his leg. Despite the pain and exhaustion, Jake managed to go aboard the surfboard and started paddling toward the shore. Each movement was agony, every stroke a battle against his own body's limitations. The water around him churned with his struggle, blood staining the waves in his wake. Other beachgoers who noticed the commotion started approaching Jake. Some had already called for emergency medical services. A lifeguard hopped on his jet ski to retrieve the wounded surfer. After a few minutes, the vehicle reached the shore, where Jake's injuries came into clear view. His leg was severely mangled, puncture wounds from the shark's bite etched on his skin and flesh. Some scars were so deep they showed parts of his bones sticking out. Sirens wailed in the distance as Jake's friends and other beachgoers rushed to his side, their faces a mixture of horror and relief. The bull shark had disappeared into the depths, leaving a scene of chaos and fear behind. Jake was rushed to a nearby medical facility, his body battered and broken. As he lay on a hospital bed, he couldn't shake the images of that fateful encounter from his mind. The cold, unfeeling eyes of the bull shark, the searing pain of its attack, the desperate struggle for survival. Following months of arduous recovery, Jake triumphed over challenges with the unwavering support and encouragement of his loved ones. His harrowing tale and the dangers he faced quickly disseminated across the surfing community in Hawaii and globally. This widespread awareness prompted authorities to push for enhanced shark monitoring practices and improved beach safety measures. Lillian Smith's passion for marine conservation had led her to the azure waters off the coast of Australia, where the ceaseless dance of the ocean concealed both beauty and peril. As a dedicated wildlife conservationist, Lillian has dedicated her life to understanding and protecting endangered sharks. Little did she know that her commitment would be tested in the most harrowing way imaginable. On a crisp morning, the boat bobbed gently on the waves, carrying Lillian and her team to the heart of the ocean, where the elusive bull sharks lurked. Equipped with state-of-the-art tagging devices, Lillian aimed to collect critical data to preserve them. The sea sparkled under the relentless sun, belying the dangers beneath its surface. Lillian, clad in a wetsuit, her chestnut hair tied tightly in a bun, exuded excitement and determination as she prepared to plunge into the azure abyss. The crew meticulously arranged their equipment, eyes scanning the waves for any signs of danger. The air crackled with anticipation as the team geared up, oblivious to the impending threat. As Lillian descended into the cool embrace of the ocean, she marveled at the otherworldly beauty surrounding her. Schools of colorful fish darted through coral reefs, their movements a mesmerizing ballet. It was a sanctuary of serenity, a stark contrast to the chaos about to unfold. Lillian cautiously approached a magnificent bull shark in the serene underwater surroundings, its sleek form slicing through the water with predatory grace. Sensing the intrusion, the shark twitched nervously. Aware of the highly volatile nature of bull sharks, Lillian began to slowly distance herself from the creature, ensuring never to turn her back on the potential threat. Lillian's movements were deliberate and calculated, as she took every precaution not to provoke the agitated beast. Despite her efforts, the shark seemed locked into its primal instincts, its behavior escalating beyond control. As Lillian retreated, the shark started to swim towards her, fueled by its growing agitation. Initially moving slowly, the creature gained momentum over time, charging faster and faster as Lillian continued her careful withdrawal. And then the inevitable happened. The bull shark, driven by primal ferocity, unleashed its power in a torrent of violence. With a speed that defied the laws of the underwater world, it lunged towards Lillian, its massive form displacing water in a forceful surge. The ocean exploded into a frenzied whirlwind, a vortex of bubbles and currents as the immense force of the shark's attack sent Lillian spinning through the abyss. Panic surged through her veins as she felt the vice-like grip of the shark's jaws closing on her left leg. Time seemed to slow to a crawl as the reality of the attack sank in, and the once majestic creature turned into a relentless force that sought to assert its dominance. The water around her became a blurred scene of struggle, with the shark's predatory instincts clashing with Lillian's desperate fight for survival. As the jaws closed around her leg, a searing pain shot through her nerves, engulfing her senses with an overwhelming sensation of helplessness. The bull shark's teeth, like cold steel, mangled Lillian's leg in a gruesome display of nature's brutality. The metallic taste of blood filled her mouth, and the agony threatened to consume her consciousness. The noble mission to protect the underwater creatures had devolved into a primal struggle. Lillian was trapped in the jaws of a beast she aimed to save. In those harrowing moments, as the shark thrashed and twisted in an attempt to drag Lillian deeper into the ocean, the fragile bond between researcher and researcher hung in the balance. Above, the crew, witnessing the sudden eruption of violence in the water, moved urgently to save their colleague. The crew immediately dove into the depths armed with harpoons. Every second was of the essence as the shark threatened to claim one of their own. The underwater battleground became a stage for a dual struggle, one for survival and the other for preserving a delicate equilibrium. The bull shark, momentarily disoriented by the harpoons, released its grip on Lillian's leg, allowing the rescue team to pull her from the rampaging beast. Lillian emerged from the depths, her torn wetsuit stained with the evidence of the brutal encounter. The once clear waters now bore witness to the clash between the quest for knowledge and the primal instincts of the creatures they studied. Lillian's severely mangled leg and the trail of blood it left on its wake became a tangible reminder of the unforgiving nature of her mission, etched into her flesh as symbols of sacrifice and resilience. Through sheer willpower and the unwavering support of her team, Lillian felt herself being pulled to the surface. The sun's blinding light greeted her as she gasped for air, the taste of salt and victory on her lips. The bull shark, now entangled in a mesh of ropes and grappling arms, thrashed in defeat. The battle beneath the waves had concluded, and Lillian emerged wounded but alive. The boat, a sanctuary of safety, awaited Lillian's battered form. As her crew pulled her aboard, the gravity of her ordeal settled in. First aid was administered to treat Lillian's leg to stem the bleeding. The vessel sped towards the shore, carrying with it the indomitable spirit of Lillian Smith and the relentless dedication of those who had fought beside her. The journey promised a painful physical and emotional recovery, but Lillian's resolve remained unbroken. The incident became a defining chapter in Lillian's life, a tale of survival and resilience that transcended the horrors of that fateful day. Lillian gazed out at the distant horizon as she lay in the infirmary, her leg wrapped in bandages. With unwavering determination, Lillian Smith emerged from despair, a beacon of strength for those who sought to understand the delicate dance between humanity and the wild. Undeterred by the harrowing ordeal, Lillian remained steadfast in her commitment to studying and comprehending the creatures that had nearly claimed her life. In her perspective, every creature holds a vital role within the ecosystem, and it falls upon humanity to ensure the conservation of every species, even in the face of the risks they may pose to us.